up, everybody? I'm Hoops and Hip Hop. Now, I got a really exciting segment I want to talk to you guys about today. It's something I'm actually really passionate about.
Hey, what are you doing?
Just talking to the super awesome people about how amazing Incineroar is and how it's probably one of my more favorite starters, right up next to Delphox, who's actually my favorite starter Pokemon with its wand that it uses for its fire and psychic abilities and...
What's up, everybody? I'm Hoops and Hip Hop. So, sometimes things happen in life that we just don't have an answer to. Like when your friend tries to hijack your YouTube channel. Anyways, things like this have happened in Pokemon more than once, where something peculiar will be introduced or mentioned, but we are simply left with no answer for it at all. Yeah, these things can be really interesting when they're left shrouded in mystery, but it would also just be really nice to have an answer for them, although that probably will never happen. So today, we are going to be taking a look at 5 questions in Pokemon that will, most likely, never be answered. Yeah, it sucks, but it does make for some good discussion, so without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off this list of questions is the notorious Kalos power plant. Namely, what the heck was the deal with that thing? It was one of the more important locations in the plot of X and Y's story, and one of the bigger targets for Kalos' Team Flare. On top of that though, the thing that makes this place a real head-scratcher are its mysterious locked doors. The power plant has several locked doors dotted along its location on Route 13 that seem like they're meant to be opened at a later time. However, you really only open one of them, and it leads through more of a narrow corridor that kinda just has you getting in and out rather quickly. So what's the deal with these doors, and why was the power plant such a brief part of X and Y's story despite being touted as much more? It's likely either because that's just the way that Game Freak intended it, or they originally planned to give it more importance but had to cut content due to time restrictions or something like that. I tend to lean towards the latter, but it's very likely that we'll never know the true answer. Next up is the mysterious tribe of the Simcha Ruins. Now this one absolutely fascinates me because of the lore that this event provides, as well as what it could mean in terms of the placement of the Pokemon regions within the world. The Simcha Ruins are a mysterious set of ruins built by 2 even more mysterious tribes from Sinnoh and Johto. They came together in order to combine their cultures and construct a temple for Arceus, but that's where what we know about them stops. Why did they come together? Why did they build a temple for Arceus? Where exactly are the Simcha Ruins located? The existence of this temple also established a relationship between Arceus and the Unknown, but we don't even know what that entails. Ultimately, the Simcha Ruins are a very interesting and mysterious place that provides way more questions than answers, and unfortunately, it's not very likely that any of them will be answered anytime soon. Right in the middle is the one that we all know about, and that's the Kalos Ghost Girl. Ironically, this mysterious apparition disappeared from explanation just as quickly as it was discovered. As I'm sure you all know, upon entering the 2nd floor of one of the buildings in Lumio City, the lights will flicker on and off as a ghost girl appears before you. She will then say, "No, you're not the one," and proceed to float away, after which everything goes back to normal. Now obviously the big question here is, what does this mean? Who is the one that this ghost girl is looking for? I mean, it makes sense that Game Freak would want to occasionally stick something ominous or mysterious in their game to get people talking, but it just seems like there is so much more to this story than is being led on. On top of that, if you go to the 4th floor of the Lumio City Hotel, you'll see a girl with the same character model in one of the rooms. If you talk to her, she says, "Don't talk to me. If you do, I can't hear the elevator." The mysterious nature of this encounter, combined with the fact that she has the same character model as the Ghost Girl, could mean that they're related in some way. But like I said, nothing has been explained about either of these events. Who knows if this was purely just for kicks and giggles or if there was some sort of intended meaning. But as is the theme with this video, we will likely never know the true answer. Next up is a classic question that Pokemon fans have been asking for a long time, and that's, why are starter Pokemon so rare? This question actually creates a ton of other puzzling questions, but let's start with the basics. Why starter Pokemon are rare could be because of a number of things. They could just be generally rare Pokemon, but then that brings up the question of why these Pokemon specifically were chosen to be starters, because there are certainly other viable rare Pokemon in each region as well. On that note, another question this brings up is, other than sharing the same types, what if any relation do the starter Pokemon of each region have to each other? They certainly come in all shapes and sizes, but from a purely lore and world building perspective, they all do have an aura of similarity surrounding them. Personally, I feel like the story behind the starter Pokemon is a bit deeper than what has been told to us, but I wouldn't get your hopes up for finding that out anytime soon. And last, but certainly not least, is the tale of the unified Univin Dragon Pokemon. In case you weren't aware, the backstory of Pokemon Black and White states that Reshiram, Zekrom, and technically Kyurem were all originally part of one single dragon Pokemon. This Pokemon was eventually split apart into Reshiram and Zekrom during the feud between two brothers who were fighting over truth and ideals. The shell of this separated Pokemon is Kyurem, and all of this leads us to the conclusion that there was once a majestic dragon Pokemon that we have never even seen before. The fact that there is a legitimate canonical Pokemon that we haven't seen is fascinating, but it's also kind of sad because, as you probably guessed by now, this most likely will never happen. I think our one true hope for this is in Black and White remakes, but that is so far off and not even guaranteed to happen, so for now all we can really do is hope for the best. So there we have it. It seems like Game Freak really has a trend of putting these really mysterious things into the Pokemon games with no explanation whatsoever, just for the sake of creating a mystery. In a sense, however, it's actually kind of a good thing because it gives us a ton as fans to theorize on, which always makes for a good time. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and let me know down in the comments below if you guys have any possible answers to these questions. Also, I want to thank my friend for coming onto the video earlier to kind of help me shake things up with the intro, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, let me know because maybe she can even come back and do some more videos in the future. Finally, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe because I upload great Pokemon content like this each and every week, and until the next one, as always, I'll smell you guys later.